me see. This is the first time I've ever done this. Thanks to Karen Reed for helping me learn. I love to learn. Oh, I love to learn. I wonder how I pick the screen. Bear with, guys. I'm just learning how to do this for the first time. Just learning. I'm finding it. It would have been so much easier if we just didn't have to get in all this. But here we are. Okay. Here's the article. I went looking to see if any Karen Reed supporters had secretly flipped. Here's what happened next. This is from the Boston Globe today. Hold on, let me just plug in my computer. What if you guys are witnessing the beginning of me becoming Turtle Boy? Oh my God. I lose my fucking mind. You know? All right. This is all I wanted to do. I just wanted to read the article. All right. The emails left me feeling scared, like I was hearing from people hiding from the mob. Thank you for having the courage to write about this, one read. I've only told people in my close circle, another said. I'm a bit paranoid about personal info like my cell getting leaked, a third worried. And finally, be careful. Ho-hum. Just another day in the life of the Karen Reed trial. Correspondents were people who had once fervently believed in Reed's innocence and who, almost more importantly, had bonded with others in the trial's grip. They spent their days heartening each other's social media posts. Some had mustered outside the courthouse or on random roadways waving signs, raised money for her defense fund, or they wore pink. They bought the merch. Their whole personalities had become Karen Reed. That is what I suspected. That's an aside from me. But then maybe a new piece of evidence emerged, or they came to distrust their source of pro-Reed news. What had once seemed like serious, objective analysis, allegedly proving Reed had been framed, as the defense alleges, began to feel a little rabbit hole-y, and they changed their minds. This is exactly kind of what I hoped to hear when reading a piece like this. I was really hoping that people would have changed their minds because they realized that they were just being asked to believe too much. To me, it feels like a pretty obvious place for people to lose their trust in this. But I think if you're mostly only surrounded by people who are into this stuff, it's easy to not have any faith in your, like, to feel valid. I mean, it's easy to not feel like you are onto something. So, okay, getting into it. And then what? Before we go any further, on the off chance that this is the first you're hearing of it, the Karen Reed case involves the January 22nd, hold on, you guys. Sorry. I am dyslexic, just heads up. I figured I probably was going to have to disclose that at some point during this, but I did not know it was going to be this close. So if I have to go back, please bear with. And that's also why I have it up on the screen so you can proof me. I never promise that I'll get everything right. So the January 2022 death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe Reed, his girlfriend, who had been charged with second-degree murder and other crimes, and who may or may not have drunkenly backed her Lexus SUV into him and left him for dead on the lawn of another police officer's home on a snowy night in Canton, middle-aged adults who partied like high schoolers, and possibly a German Shepherd. Reed's first trial ended with a mistrial last July. Along the way, it turned her into a global and divisive figure, a Meghan Markle or a Blake Lively, except that almost no one had ever heard of her before. It has spawned a Karen Reed industrial complex that includes highly hyped exclusives and behind-the-scenes investigations on national TV and in glossy magazines, a full employment program for podcasters, YouTubers, YouTube lawyers, and cable TV commentators, and free Karen Reed hoodies for dogs. I spent time interviewing her superfans last year, and what struck me as much as anything was the obvious camaraderie that they'd developed. This is because they're losers and they don't have friends. This isn't in the article, that's an aside from me. This is about people who are lonely post-COVID. They had become members of an adult on-set clique brought together by a woman they didn't know, but whose life had become their cause. Many skipped work and drove long distances to protest and regularly described fellow FKRers as their new best friends. Last Sunday, with the retrial poised to start, I wondered what it would be like to leave this group, a bunch of former strangers who came together and formed what's been called a cult. Out of an abundance of, let's say, idiocy, I took my question to the heart of the beast, a Karen Reed support group on Facebook with nearly 60,000 members. If this is you and you'd like to talk anonymously, I wrote, we can do that. The responses came in hot, angry, and insulting. 15, 90, 175, 200, 300, and as the vitriol mounted, so did my stress. I stepped away from my laptop. When I returned a few hours later, 863 people had weighed in on my bias and poor journalist skills, and who knows what else, because I decided I didn't want this much hate in my life and deleted the post. It's funny to see the word bias in here because I have been giggling to myself about how often free Karen Reed people use that word and don't know how to use it. So shout out if that was a mini troll from her, although I doubt it was. I'm sure Beth Title is above that. I'm not. But it didn't help. The conspiracy stoking blogger, who is credited in part with whipping up the global frenzy, posted my Facebook post on X and the abuse resumed. Haha, she posted this on Facebook and got smacked around so bad she deleted the post. Laughing emoji, gushed one X user. Oh yeah, Beth, I'm sure you'll be successful in your mission to find a bunch of complete morons like yourself, said another. Sorry, bitch, wrong neighborhood. Can't wait for the garbage expose article to come out, declared another. Her photo screams head of HR, observed another, and so on. I stopped reading X, then the emails began arriving, except now I wasn't under attack. They were from people who had, in fact, changed their minds and were afraid of going public. The emails, and absolutely in no way, suggested a widespread defection from the FKR crew, but even so, they were interesting. My experience in leaving FKR was stressful, one woman wrote. I endured harassment, digging into my personal life, and some pretty outlandish and hateful claims about me. I've avoided going public with it because of the backlash I got simply for telling folks that I wasn't sure if she was guilty or not last year, read another. I would never post online that I think she's guilty, another former FKR wrote. They will screenshot, put you on blast for others to help dig into your life and attack you. One woman, making plans for a call with a reporter, was afraid to give her phone number. The mob is already coming after me, she wrote. Some wrote what almost sounded like confessions. I absolutely started out thinking Karen Reed was framed, and now I'm completely ashamed of myself and I almost fell for that. Guys, this is like my big thing. This is my big thing. when I say that, like, I have a lot of empathy for Free Karen Read and that I believe they're probably mostly decent people that got completely taken advantage of by this. And the shame I anticipate them feeling is insurmountable, honestly. Like, I really feel like for some of these people, these are not people that are used to harassing teenagers and women. These are not people who would do that normally in their life, but and of course they wouldn't do it publicly. So like in this, I feel like some probably decent people have done things that are kind of like fucking unforgivable, and there will be no way to make this up. There will be no way to make this up. There's no apology that you can offer for what some of these people have done here. I've silently flipped and I believe she's guilty, another said. I didn't feel this way in the beginning. I went to a fundraiser and bought the sweatshirt. The fear of being on the wrong side of your social group goes both ways. It should be noted, even if in the Karen Read case, it's her supporters that seem more vocal and clannish. Indeed, as the emails from former Karen Read supporters kept arriving, a direct message popped up on my Facebook. It was from someone who initially thought Karen Read was guilty, but then changed her mind and now believes she was framed. But she and some of her like-minded friends fear having their true feelings exposed to members of the victim's family who also happen to be neighbors. I am part of a secret group who support Karen Read, it began. I mean, is that the whole fucking piece? That's the whole thing? All right. Well, glad I got banned from TikTok for that. Anyway, this is fascinating to me. This is kind of what I expected. I feel bad about it. I do. I feel bad about it. I wish that this was something that, like, I wish she had just taken responsibility. It's so important to take responsibility, you guys, when you fuck up like this. Anyway, this is make sure you subscribe if you're here. Thank you for being here. I don't know if this is going to stay up after the fact, but I want to welcome you to subscribe. I will be doing this. I think I might be streaming the trial, which I initially didn't want to do. And if that is the case, I can't promise I'll get out of bed, but I'll certainly be more pulled together than this. But yeah, I hope to see y'all again. I can't wait for more info to come out. I think the jury will be settled in, like, if not by the end of today, by the end of tomorrow. I think they'll have the jury. But we'll see how many of them get to stay after the fact. In the meantime, check out my podcast, Trend Lightly. There's a new episode that goes live tomorrow. I've been mentioning Karen almost every week. And on my main Patreon, there is the 3-part series that I did for Body in the Snow. You can go check that out. Appreciate y'all. Be safe. Bye.